The gentleman in question used a vibrator which unfortunately got stuck. Unsurprisingly, he was too ashamed to go to the emergency room. Naturally, the next step was to try and correct the problem himself by fishing the vibrator out with his Bestell and tongs, but he failed. After this humiliation, the man finally turned himself over to medical professionals, and they were able to extract both the tongs and the vibrator. Steve Fines spent 3 years of his life unknowingly carrying around a 4-inch knife in his head. During a robbery, he had attempted to stop the criminal and was stabbed through his throat during the ensuing scuffle. Afterwards, Lee believed that the robber must have taken the knife with him and only complained about some bleedings in his throat or occasional problems with swallowing. When he eventually went to hospital, doctors found the blade in his head. It had luckily missed major arteries and nerves and not caused any significant damage to the surrounding tissue. Gerrit Dahlman, a Netherlands native, was admitted to the hospital with searing stomach pains, and her X-ray showed that the problem was an entire set of forks and spoons, nearly 78 utensils total, that she swallowed. The operating surgeons and attending medical professionals on the case theorized that the Dahlman was suffering from pica, a disorder that is rare among pregnant women that causes them to crave non-food items. This 60-year-old man claims that thieves shoved the entire Coca-Cola bottle in his anus. He was constipated for days, probably because the entire bottle of Coca-Cola was kind of in the way, and was eventually admitted to the hospital. Medical records indicate that the doctors had to use a number of tools to get that refreshing beverage out of there, including extra long forceps. Private Channing Moss was on patrol in the Paktika province in Afghanistan when Taliban fighters ambushed him along with his fellow soldiers. They fired several rocket-propelled grenades at the troops and one struck Moss in the abdomen. While this would usually be fatal for the victim and anyone around him, the grenade did not explode for some reason, leaving Moss with a live explosive device in his stomach. He was then taken to an army hospital where surgeons and bomb disposal experts managed to remove the grenades safely. In 2006, a young woman from Foshan, China swallowed more than 20 cobblestones after a fight with her boyfriend. She experienced intense pain and discomfort, and was constantly disturbed by the stones knocking against one another when she would walk or move. After a trip to the hospital, she underwent surgery to remove them. It's far rarer for humans to suffer from hairballs, but that is exactly what happened in Chicago when an 18-year-old woman visited her local hospital complaining of stomach pains. Scans showed an extensive mass in her stomach and she was taken straight to surgery. Doctors then discovered that the growth was in fact a 10-pound hairball. It turns out that the woman had a habit of chewing her own hair, leading to the strange health problem. After years of suffering pain and breathing problems, Bhagat, an Indian man, was admitted to hospital. Surgery revealed a half-formed fetus, complete with limbs, hair and genitalia, that Bhagat had been carrying with him his whole life. Indiana, an 8-year-old girl swallowed over 30 magnets which were all attracted to each other, forming a life-threatening mash-up that had to be surgically removed. In 2014, Dallas Archer, of Tennessee, was booked in jail and stashed in her lady parts a loaded gun because she figured that would be the safest place for a loaded weapon. Instead, she has been charged with introducing contraband into a penal facility and will serve several years in prison. As a bonus, the gun was stolen, only adding to her charges.